Let's switch our critical lens to NVIDIA, a company whose name has become as much an economic indicator as a technology brand. Think of NVIDIA as the company that started out designing better ways to render explosions in video games and ended up accidentally building the foundation for the artificial intelligence revolution. It's rather like a contractor who specialized in building movie sets, suddenly discovering their techniques were perfect for constructing real cities. The company's trajectory is a masterclass in accidental empire building. They became the backbone of AI not because they foresaw the future, but because the mathematical operations needed to make games look pretty turned out to be exactly what you need to make neural networks think. It's as if they'd been unknowingly manufacturing philosophical engines while trying to perfect virtual racetracks. Now they've become something akin to the standard oil of the AI age. If data is the new oil, NVIDIA makes the refineries. Their GPUs have transformed from gaming luxury to corporate necessity, and their stock price has become a kind of real-time referendum on the future of AI itself. What's particularly delicious about NVIDIA's transformation is how it mirrors the classic Silicon Valley pivot, but at a scale that makes most pivots look like slight turns of the head. Consider how NVIDIA has become the perfect metaphor for our time. A company that got rich making toys for gamers has become the cornerstone of humanity's attempts to replicate intelligence. It's like discovering that Lego had accidentally developed the perfect building blocks for constructing actual skyscrapers. Their CUDA platform, originally designed to make water look more realistic in games, has become the de facto language of AI computation. Imagine if Super Mario's pipes turned out to be the template for a revolutionary new plumbing system. That's essentially what happened here. But here's the truly fascinating bit. NVIDIA has managed to position itself as both the foundation and the ceiling of AI development. Want to train a large language model? You need NVIDIA. Want to run inference at scale? You need NVIDIA. Want to compete with NVIDIA? Well, you'll probably need to buy NVIDIA chips to design your competing chips. They've achieved what economists call a natural monopoly, but in a most unnatural field. They're not just selling pickaxes in the AI gold rush. They've managed to become the laws of physics in which the gold rush operates. Every major AI advancement becomes another brick in NVIDIA's moat. NVIDIA has become so fundamental to AI development that they're essentially selling the computational equivalent of space-time. Their hardware isn't just a tool anymore. It's become the medium in which artificial thoughts form. It's as if a company that started out making better microscopes accidentally became the architect of reality at the quantum level. Now we reach the positively Borgesian layer of NVIDIA's story. They've achieved something rather unprecedented. They're not just selling the tools for building artificial intelligence. They're effectively renting out the fabric of computational reality itself. Their recent chips aren't just faster versions of old ones. They're increasingly specialized for specific types of AI computation. The H100, for instance, isn't just a graphics card that happens to be good at AI. It's a philosophical engine designed to process the very nature of pattern recognition and prediction. They're no longer selling products. They're selling the possibility of artificial thought itself. And here's where it gets properly metaphysical. NVIDIA's dominance is so complete that they're now using AI designed on their chips to design better chips for running AI. It's a perfect closed loop, a silicon serpent eating its own tail. They've created a technological recursion where their products are essential for creating their next products. The company has transcended the normal rules of market competition to become something more akin to a fundamental constant of the artificial universe, like the speed of light in physics, but for computational reality. You can work around it, you can try to find alternatives, but you cannot escape its influence on how artificial thoughts propagate through silicon. Let's spiral into both the silicon singularity and the blurring of boundaries. They're rather inseparable at this point anyway. Here we are at the event horizon of computation, where NVIDIA has become something unprecedented in human history, a company that has essentially become the substrate of artificial consciousness itself. Their hardware isn't just processing thoughts anymore. It's becoming indistinguishable from the very nature of artificial thinking. Consider their latest chips. They're not just faster processors, they're specialized cognitive architectures. The distance between the physical architecture of their GPUs and the logical architecture of neural networks is collapsing. It's as if they're not just building better brains, They're defining what it means to think artificially. The company has achieved what the alchemists only dreamed of. They transmute raw computation into something approaching consciousness. Each new generation of their chips isn't just an improvement. It's a redefinition of what's possible in the space between silicon and thought. And here's where reality starts to bend. NVIDIA is using AI running on NVIDIA chips to design new NVIDIA chips that will run AI more efficiently to design even better NVIDIA chips. It's not just a feedback loop. It's a fundamental recursion in the fabric of computational reality. They're not just making the tools anymore. They're creating the conditions for technological evolution itself. They've become something akin to a cosmological constant in the universe of artificial intelligence, a fundamental parameter that determines how thought can propagate through silicon. The distinction between hardware and software, between physical architecture and logical architecture, between the medium and the message, all of these are dissolving in the face of NVIDIA's technological singularity. We're watching the emergence of what might be called silicon consciousness, not artificial intelligence as we imagined it, but something stranger, a fusion of hardware and thought pattern so complete that separating them becomes meaningless. NVIDIA isn't just selling chips anymore. They're selling the very possibility of artificial consciousness itself. And perhaps most mind-bending of all, this analysis itself is being processed through neural networks running on NVIDIA hardware, creating a kind of computational Mobius strip where the medium of thought becomes inseparable from its content. A moment of vertigo as we contemplate the recursive nature of this very observation. The metamorphosis from pixels to petaflops. The company that turned gaming hardware into the picks and shovels of the AI gold rush. The infrastructure of dreams. From rendering virtual worlds to processing reality itself. When the architecture of thought becomes indistinguishable from the architecture of silicon, the silicon singularity, where silicon dreams and neural patterns become 1 inch.